Here we are. It is the final book in the Lunar Chronicle series. Well, okay, the main story final book, because we do have two others set in the world. I think the next one is like short stories, and then I think there's like the origin story of the queen or something like that. But this is the last of the main story that we've been following. So for a brief synopsis, obviously you need to have read the other books before you grab this one, because spoilers. So this one is winter. If you couldn't guess by the cover here, it's gonna be Snow White. Now, honestly, we got to meet Winter before, and seeing her and her story, you just fall in love with her. I loved her so much in this book. And so it basically is mostly her story. We're still dealing with the ramifications from the previous books. We now have the Emperor kind of kidnapped, and now we have to figure out how is Cinder going to defeat the queen. Again, with the pacing for this book, I do really love this story. I love her writing. I think this is one of my favorite series, like definitely top 3 favorites for sure. The pacing just was a little obnoxious as we go along. Mostly it's just this like constant, like, it feels like you're playing cat and mouse with your readers, and like, I know that you're supposed to do that, but honestly, it gets kind of old sometimes. Like, I don't like to have the constant convenience plot things and like, honestly, like inconvenienced things that just, it kind of got old after a while. Like a few inconveniences is fine, but like eventually it kind of did start to get old in this book. And I didn't notice it as much in the first 2 books. It really felt like these last 2, the plot twists and like the way the characters have to interact, and like they get separated and together and separate and together, and then this injury happens and then this happens and then this, and like it just felt like a little bit much. Like, I know why they did it and I know why the author would write that way. It just kind of, I mean, it's still a good book, don't get me wrong, but I found myself a little annoyed at times, like, again? Really? Wow. And it was one of those things, but it still had plot twists that like I should have seen coming, but I didn't, because I kept expecting the story to go different ways than it did, which is fine. And there were definitely plot twists that it was like, oh no. But like overall, it was so good. And truly, I wish she would continue with the world. I know she doesn't need to. Like, this story is probably done. Obviously, I mean, it's been years, but like, it's such a fun world and such a fun story, and you just want to know more about it. And so I'm happy that there's a few more in the world, but like pretty much the main storyline is gone, and I would love to get to see what, you know, happens. But overall, it was a fantastic book. I still definitely recommend the series, but now let us move on to the spoilers. So my main thing with this book was, why did everybody constantly have to be getting separated? It got old so fast. And like the stakes, it kept being like, nope, no, like constantly. It got old so fast. Because it's like, we've been playing this cat and mouse game. We did it convenience-wise in book 3, and that was one of the things I didn't like. That was part of that pacing issue, and it got worse in this. Because it's like, oh cool, Thorn has his eyes again, but then, oh no, we got separated from Crest, now we can't do everything. Oh no, now we're separated from Thorn. Oh my god, is he gonna die? Oh my god, now we're separated from Wolf. Is he gonna die? Oh my god, we don't, like, it just was constant. And it's like, oh my god. It got old so fast. But also, it was really good. I liked the way that like we have like the uprising of the people, because they're like, yeah, no, screw this. Yeah, this is our only opportunity. And like the way like the battle happens, where like Winter finally uses her powers to control Scarlet. I didn't see that happening. Honestly, I thought she would have, I knew she was going to use her power. I didn't know when. And so it was like, oh no. But like, it was so good. And like the chamber thing that they stuck Winter in when she caught the plague, and like, oh, and the scene with the candy felt really like, I couldn't not picture it as the stupid scene from the Disney movie. Like, it did not really fit the tone of the rest of the book, but also Winter's kind of insane, so it kind of worked. But I just, like, the verbiage and everything was just like, oh, this is the cartoon. Okay. Like, it was really hard to like remind yourself, like, no, there's like the wolf monster creature things over there. but like then having her little chamber thing that she's in where they haul her and everyone's like upset because it's the princess. Like, it's so interesting. And I love that Cinder is like, we're done with the monarchy, screw this. Like, this is dumb. And it makes me wonder, like, is Kai gonna do that when he's out at Commonwealth? Like, is he gonna be like, nah, we're good, we could have a republic too? Like, it just makes you wonder about stuff. And also, like, what's gonna happen with them in the future? Because she's ruling a planet, he's ruling on Earth and a little part of the planet. It just makes a lot of things questionable for the future that we're never gonna get to see, which really sucks. Same with the other characters. I would really like to know what happens with their stories still, and like the moving forward with what they have to, but like also I know that's not as entertaining of a story because you're not like huge plot driven. It's more just like hanging out with them at this point, but I still want to know what happens. I also really love the way they described her episodes with Cinder being a little bit crazy. Like, I feel like they handled that so well in this book, and like it was just so fun of Cinder and everyone trying to like be delicate with her, but like Scarlet being very not gentle with the crazy girl and being like, oh my god, could you please stop? And then the guard, the huntsman, having to be like the one to kill her. I felt bad for the wolf though, that was really sad. I didn't want the wolf to have to die. Just overall, this book was so good. I really loved the series, and it was one of those that it's like, this is like 800 pages. The pages are really thin, so it doesn't look like that big of a book, but it actually is. It's just really thin pages, but it went by so fast. This series, honestly, I could have binged it in a weekend and been perfectly content and like barely slept, because you need to know what happens. You need to keep going. Like, it's so fun when you find a story that captivates you like that, and it won't do it for everybody, and that's fine. But for me, this was like one of those stories where it was like, I can't put it down. Like, every single chance I got, I was pulling the book out trying to read it, and I haven't had that for so long. And it was so refreshing and fun to actually be excited about a story and to care about the characters and constantly have it on your mind of like, what's gonna happen with the plot? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I haven't had that for so long. And granted, I'm just now starting to get back into reading fiction a lot because I took a few years off, and so I'm just jumping back in. But I remember being like that when I used to read a lot, so I'm excited to start having that again. But this series is so good that like, everyone should just read these. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the book Winter by Marissa Meyer. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every other day, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.